So we're just gonna peel our russet potatoes here. You can see I've got 3. All right, and if you get any brown spots, you can just cut them out, just like that. And just cut right around those guys. All right, so then for our last potato here, give it 1 cut there. All right, you can see I'm just cutting them just into uniform chunks here. They don't have to be exactly perfect. And I've got some cold water here. And it's very important to simmer your potatoes to start them in cold water. All right, so I'm just gonna bring it over to our range here. I'm gonna start at medium heat, and then once it comes up to a simmer, I'm gonna lower it to medium-low. So our potatoes have been boiling, or simmering I should say, for about 20 minutes or so, and I just checked them with a fork, and they're fork tender now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna shut off the heat, and I'm gonna bring this over to our sink here, and I've got a strainer. I'm just gonna strain these potatoes. You can see there's just a little bit of liquid at the bottom here. You want to make sure I get all of that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the potatoes back into the pot here. Put our strainer down. And I'm going to turn our stove on to medium-low to low heat. And what we're going to do is we're going to let some of that moisture evaporate, and then I'm going to mash the potatoes. Okay. And as the moisture is evaporating, it's very important to lower your heat, because the last thing you want to do is scorch your potatoes. All right, I think we're just about there. So let's start on our mise en place for our filling here. I've got a bell pepper, a green one here, a red one here. I have a beautiful jalapeno, a couple cloves of garlic here, and a medium onion. Okay, all right, so let's head over to the stove here. I'm gonna turn the heat to about medium, and let's add our onions, our garlic, our jalapenos, and our peppers. Just gonna add a little bit of salt and a couple cracks of pepper. All right, so I'm gonna let this sweat for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we'll add the ground beef and the tofu. All right, so we've got our tofu here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna break it up a little bit. And this is our Nasoya extra firm tofu, okay? And it's just a really great way to add some vegetarian protein to this recipe here. We're gonna add our tofu, add our cayenne, our cumin, and our ground beef. And just a little bit of crushed tomato here. You can see it's very colorful, very flavorful. And I'm gonna let this go for about 4 to 5 minutes or until the ground beef is fully cooked, and then I'll show you the next step. All right, so for the next step, I've got our mashed potatoes that we cooled down ever so slightly just so we can work with them. You can see they look great here. We've got our filling here, okay? And we've got a little bit of salt and pepper. So let's just season our potatoes just a little bit here. A couple grinds of pepper. And it's very important to make sure your potatoes aren't hot when you add the egg, because otherwise you're going to get scrambled eggs. And what we want to do is just be able to incorporate this egg without cooking it, just so it becomes our binder. I don't want to make them too big because it'll take a little bit too long to cook. And what we're going to do is just make a little hole right here. All right, just add a little bit of our filling. Okay. And I'm just going to wrap the potato right around that filling. Okay, and just form them into our little circles. All right, so I've got some panko breadcrumbs here. I've got a little bit of flour. Just gonna crack these eggs open on my little sheet trays or cookie sheets. Just gonna give these a whisk. I'm going to salt my flour. I'll make sure we give that a good seasoning. Also, I'm going to season our potatoes slightly as well. Let's get them right into our flour. You want to be very careful because they are very delicate. Just want to that nice and coated. Just give it a nice roll. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some oil up to temperature, and then I'll show you the next step. All right, so I've got a pot of canola oil coming up to temperature. It's about 350 degrees, and you can see, if you take a look, that it's only about just above halfway here, and that's really important because I have an open flame here. I just want to make sure that we don't displace any of that oil, because that oil is actually flammable and it actually could be very, very dangerous. So I just want to make sure that it's not going to come up near the lip at all, because it's going to bubble and percolate as well. So we'll probably do this in 2 batches here, and just going to take our beautiful little croquettes and drop them ever so lightly into our oil here. Okay. And you can see that it's not turned brown right away. If that happens, your oil is much, much too hot. We just are looking for a nice golden brown on these guys. So we're going to give this a couple of minutes, and then I'll show you the next step. All right, so our croquettes are looking really, really nice here. I just temped one of them. It's about 55 degrees here, and that's more than hot enough. And we've just got some paper towels to absorb some of that oil. All right, so then here we go. We've got all of our croquettes. I mean, they're really beautiful golden brown here. And so, yeah, I'm just gonna dig into one and let's pick out the best one. So I think this one is probably the best one, and we'll just take a look and see. Just see that beautiful filling with the tofu, and you can see the jalapeno, the red peppers there.